All right, we're at 34 degrees, mostly cloudy in Barre this morning. Happy freaking, what is it? Is it Wednesday yet, Raylene?
It is Wednesday.
Oh, my God.
We're cruising.
Happy hump day, everybody. Pleasure to have you on board. Thanks for tuning in this morning. We got some wet weather coming here over the next couple of days, says Roger Hill, who, by the way, is confirmed Friday morning. He is going to be with me.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Not in the studio, though, by telephone. He's a busy
That's
dude.
okay. And then we're going on the road.
Yeah, then we're going to hit the road.
We're not telling where we're going.
We will not tell anyone that we might stop by at the Rise Up Bakery. Nope, won't do it.
Nope.
We won't say that into the mic.
But there are some others on the list that we will not.
Sure.
We will not tell our location.
Yeah. So, good morning. Good morning to you and Michael Booten, who's sitting right next to you this morning. God, Michael, you look good, man.
I know. I can't deny it. Ooh,
I mean, you look so good, buddy.
Thank you.
Nice
Thank you very much.
Nice Barry beat hat.
I know. Right?
So
Pretty sweet, huh?
What's the deal? Are you going to be? Are you doing a Barry beat tonight?
Yes.
You are.
In fact, I'm doing a Barry beat with Raylene tonight.
Come on.
Yeah.
How'd you get that? How are you so lucky to get Raylene to?
Well, because it is hump day, and the city of Barre has been humped with no Vaseline. And we want to talk about it.
Somehow I knew the bell was going to ring within the first 5 minutes.
Yes.
I told you I wasn't going to talk until last, damn it.
No. Do you really think I would believe that you'd come in here and say, I'm not speaking until last?
Can we tell people that I did call you on the way here and say, can I talk this morning? And you said, why are you asking me? And I said, are you sure you dare?
Why would you waste your breath?
Oh, I know, because I can be controversial sometimes.
Michael, thank you for coming in here this morning.
Hey, not a problem.
I was watching a little bit of the city council meeting last night.
I'm so sorry.
And listening. Well, frankly, all due respect here, I am too, because I was listening to the trash collection and the recycling, and there was a long string of drool that was coming out of my mouth. It was a little tedious, pal. I'm just being honest with you, okay? Sorry. No disrespect, bud, but we're going on for half an hour about the trash ordinance shit.
Listen, let me just tell you, the trash ordinance, we didn't really talk about the trash ordinance.
Right.
Now, I've talked about the trash ordinance before. I was the one that basically redid that trash ordinance about 2011 or something like that.
Okay.
I need to eat the mic a little bit more.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, so I get it. I can talk to you for hours about the trash ordinance. But we were talking mainly about, trucks working in the morning.
Really early in the morning, which has happened.
I did hear that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a legitimate thing.
Yeah.
Big time.
And it is not just the city of Barre that has that on their agenda. There are many places throughout the state that have that on the agenda because it's gotten quite annoying.
Yeah.
Even where I live, I'm in Sandy Pines.
Yeah.
Nothing is worse than having the trash guy come at 3:45, 3:30 in the morning to empty the dumpster. I mean, you're up.
Right.
How do you go back to sleep after that?
Agree.
It's horrible. So
last night, after I tuned out, come on, you give me a break here. I got to get Lily to bed, and the teeth brushing and the jammies and everything.
It's not like you weren't on notice, man.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, no offense, sir, but we talked about it in the beginning of the council meeting.
Right.
We specifically said we are changing the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you should have known that, that was going to be an interesting conversation. I mean, Let's just be clear to everybody. Everybody knows where I stand on this issue because I am I've been right on this since the beginning. I get really frustrated with this. I think that, city council should have never been talking about which flag to fly and everything else. That's really frustrating. And that's what the charter change ended. Just like that. It ends city council's constant going back and forth talking about which which flag to fly. Now, then we get to enjoy, you know, can we fly the American flag on Main Street? I mean, that's a different story. Again, I think people agree that it should be able to when it needs to be, but that's okay. Sure. You know, so this charter change.
I think you're right. I think most people would agree that it needs to fly.
Absolutely. I mean, people, whether left or right, are like, let's fly the flag.
Veterans Day, maybe Flag Day. And
it should have been flown on 9/11, with all due respect.
And 9/11.
Especially when it's the same flag that well, whatever. I won't go down that road. We're not going to talk about that. We're talking about the charter change.
Right.
And how it was, bumped out of House by one of our state reps who, I shouldn't say that because I don't know what happened behind the scenes.
Who is that? Who is the state rep?
Well, we'll just go by. We'll just wait. We'll go back to that.
Okay.
So the House bumped it out, got rid of the flag charter change. It went to the Senate. The Senate GovOps was like, "Hey, you know what? The people said they wanted this, and the people that were arguing against it didn't know the facts because somebody had lied to them." That's my thought process. But okay. You know, I think that there was one person that wanted to know more information, and I think somebody had talked to that person and told them information that wasn't really accurate, and I think that person just wanted to clarify it.
Yeah, a little skewed.
It got a little skewed, and then it went out of the Senate. GovOps 3-4, I think it was. Yeah, 3-2. It was voted 3-2, and Anthony Polina brought it before the Senate, and Anthony Polina said it where, you know what, I may not agree with it, but this is what the people of Barre wanted. And this is what we should do.
Yeah, I read that in the paper.
Exactly. And in Times Argus. And if you missed it, folks, you got to get the Times Argus and you got to read it because Dave Delcourt does a kick butt job doing, reporting for the Times Argus. I wish he would come on the Barre beat. He refuses. He will never do that.
No. Too shy.
Too shy. He's not shy.
He doesn't like cameras.
No, he does not. So anyway, So Anthony Polina said, in a time where, people don't trust their elected representatives, this is the time that we have to do what they say. And that was perfect. That's 100% accurate. And then it got shipped back to the House. The House said, okay, well, the House GovOps, because that's how it works. They send it back to the House GovOps. House GovOps looked at it. Okay, let's just do it. They passed it out of House GovOps with 11-0. So it's out on the floor, and then a request to have it tabled for a day. The next day, it comes into the meeting, and they say, you know what, we don't want the flag charter change in there. Peter Anthony actually voted to remove it. And it's, I believe he also is the one that requested that it be held for a legislative day. This is our representative of Barre City, and I'm overly pissed on this issue. But I will say this, I think it's going to go back. And so they did vote it out of the House committee without the flag charter change. Rob LeClaire, who represents Barre Town, represented the people of Barre City and complained to the chair, and they're going to be taking that back in and having the conversation today, I believe.
Today.
Yeah. And
if you missed it, Barre Beat last night, Rob was on with you.
Monday night.
Monday night.
Yep. He was on Monday night. And then, so today they'll decide whether or not they put the flag charter change in. They're going to.
And so let's talk about that timeline a little bit, because that will preface what happened last night with Tom Lozon's request. It was not last minute to be dismissive of the rules or try to, how was it worded, that he dishonestly put this before the council. That is not what happened. A lot of this happened over the weekend.
Yeah.
And so you literally, there was Monday to deal with it. Monday, yesterday, during the day, and that is it. It was not it was something that was well thought out, well organized, for himself quickly. It was not something that, this is literally stuff that, okay, we thought everything was okay, and then over the weekend it gets taken back out again, and so it needed to be approached.
So I found out about the charter change being removed on Saturday morning, and I was livid, and I almost think that I reached out to Tom at that point and let him know that it was removed, and I don't know who I reached out to, a couple people, because that's wrong. I mean, that was just really wrong in how it went down. And I watched the Senate GovOps. I watched the House GovOps, and I mean, it's just really frustrating. It was really frustrating, and the information that was being promulgated in those committees, some of the information, especially the House GovOps committee, was really frustrating for me. And so anyway, we get to that point. And, then of course the newspaper article drops on, I think it was Tuesday. And we had council meeting. I talked about it on the Barre Beat. We went through the process, how it went down. And then Tuesday night, they're going to be voting on it today. This is the city council's last chance at the bite of the apple. So Tom, made a comment about, changing the agenda so that we can have a conversation about the House GovOps meeting. And, there was some discussion, and I thought he said, at some point, action, but it wasn't recorded down as action. I was like, okay, well, whatever. If he doesn't need action, he doesn't need action. Although I would assume that we would need to do some sort of letter, but he had a resolution all ready to go. And
Tom did last
Tom
night.
did. Yeah. He had a resolution all ready to go. And now I feel terrible. I don't have it, but I will have it tonight at 7 p.m.
on the Barre Beat
yes.
with Raylene.
Yes.
Boom. This relationship's making me a little jealous here. I mean, what's don't be stealing her away from me, bro. Because I'll climb up. I'll climb up on a stepladder and put you in a headlock.
You're gonna have to get a couple.
Right.
So what happened last night?
Yeah. So we. Did you want to say something? I'm sorry.
Not yet. Nope. You keep going.
Whoa,
so she's winding up, right? You got to be careful with me when you wind me up. I start to spin. But yeah. So last night, we started talking about it, and
city council meeting.
Yeah, city council meeting, and it was after the executive session, and after our conversations about the executive sessions and whether or not we should have them. But that's a completely different mess up. But so we started talking, and Tom opens up his thing or whatever he had and whips out all these resolutions, papers of one resolution and hands it down and says, we need to do a resolution for tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, let's read it first. So I get it. I read it, and Carol reads it off, and there was some process. It was definitely outside of the realm of normal. I will not deny that, but it's also Tom. Sometimes and things happen where you have to do things, and you have to be nimble on your feet. City council, you can't sit there and plan everything out. It doesn't work that way.
No.
You cannot do that.
Right.
There are fires that need to be put out. That is what it is. It's a fire,
right.
Period.
When your city is flooded, you're not able to plan it out. You just have to run with it and roll with it. When you have a huge development like City Place, sometimes you can't just minutely plan that stuff out. You have to make spot decisions. If we didn't make a spot decision for the Blanchard block on what happened there, guess what? We wouldn't have the Blanchard block the way that it is. And yeah, was that an uncomfortable process? For me, it was an uncomfortable process. You know, it was like the night and we voted on the tax stabilization. And, you know, but at the end of the day, go down to Blanchard block.
It's amazing.
You know, sometimes things happen. Yeah. So this is one of those cases where we had to let the legislature know that, hey, you need to do your job. And I understand, you know, do your job. What does that mean? You know, because you technically can do your job by saying no on it. Right. I get that. There's times that you have to do that, you know.
But say no in its entirety. There's a whole piece of language removed. So they're saying no. Not to the entirety, though.
Right. But the thing that frustrates me is that charter language is like the same as what the state has for their properties. Right. You know.
Right.
And that's insane. So the House GovOps didn't want to put it in. Why didn't they want to put it in? They're saying it's because of ordinance. Well, I can tell you that's not the case, because every 2 years, or actually every year, flop, the ordinance can change. So you get these ordinances that come in and go out depending on who is in council. Do we really want to do that? Because I can guarantee you that if we put it into ordinance, I would bust my rump to make sure that we remove the ordinance to allow flags going up. So that's not what the city wanted. The city wanted, hey, you're done. This is it. We're done. And apparently we're not done, because we got to keep going. You know, it's unbelievable. This needs to be put to bed. And and how you put it to bed is by saying, okay, we're not going to put up the flags. The city is not going to put up flags.
Right.
Now, you as a person, you can put up as many flags as you want.
Right.
You can put them up on your cemetery.
Sure. And
as a side note, banners are not flags. So yes, we'll talk about that now.
You can put any flag you want in the cemetery.
You can. And even with this charter change, you can. You know why? Because you're doing it. It's not the city. The city's not doing that. The city doesn't put those flags up.
And it's your private property.
That's right.
To do with what you will. And because this is why I feel that way. I live in Sandy Pines Mobile Home Park. I rent the lot. The park maintains the park.
Right.
I maintain my space. That's my space. I rent it. It's mine. The same with the cemetery.
I can't speak because there's actually like statute language, and I don't actually know the statute language on that.
Yeah,
but
and different cemeteries do have different rules about what you can and can't do. It's just like a condo association or anything else, really. There are rules of what you can and can't do. Yeah. And so that's not something that is the mayor can say, we're going to pull all of the flags out of the cemetery. That is just the most bogus and ludicrous statement I have ever heard.
And that was an email that was sent last night. And
where is that? Is that email public?
It's on my Facebook page.
Yeah.
Where else can we see that?
Well, technically, the only place that you can see it is by going to someone's personal Facebook page.
Which you can go to mine, and it's public, and you can share the shit right out of it.
Is it on the
no problem.
Is it on the Barre Beat page?
It is not. It is not on there, but you know what? We will definitely be sharing it tonight at 7 p.m.
Great. Okay.
Promoting the Barre Beat. That's like selfless plug or shameless plug. But
no, it's not.
We're on this. We're all here.
Yeah, I know. So I will say that is a complete misread of that charter language, and that to me is not appropriate. And we're going to have this debate, I'm sure, whether or not people can put flags on their cemetery graves. I welcome that debate because I have a strange suspicion I am in the majority on that.
Where can we read Tom's resolution? Where is this made public?
So it's not yet. I mean, it's you can ask for it from City Hall, but I do have a copy of it. I do not have it with me right now. It's I will make sure that I get a copy of it.
Yeah, we'll make sure there's a digital
have that tonight.
copy available.
and I'll try to get it to you as well. But
so sparks were flying last night.
oh yeah, they were definitely flying.
In a room that still had people, despite the fact that they wanted to continually say out loud that there were no people in the room still. There were several of us still on Zoom. The 3 people that were in chambers, audience, whatever you want to call it, throughout the meeting that left during the executive session, yes, they had gone. But there was still plenty of us on Zoom.
Yep. And because we went into executive session and then came out, and then we had the conversation about the flags. And that's when you were still on, and there was a couple other people that were still on. And
it was like 10 after 10. Big deal.
Yeah.
10 o'clock. Big deal.
You know, sometimes, granted,
people stay up far later than that for much less things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So, yeah.
So
what happens now?
So now, it's funny. It's not. I mean, it's not funny. So the email was sent last night to our representatives and to.
After a vote, though.
After a vote, yeah. This was after the vote, and just saying.
And the vote was what?
4
the
to
vote
3.
was 4-3, and Jake voted yes. Which I'm like, I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking I'm kind of surprised by that, and I was actually really taken back by it, and for about 2 hours I was like, wow, okay, and then I got the email, and that immediately was like, oh, okay, that's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, because the email went out, and I get the process. Once again, I understand the process, but it I get it. That's all I'll say about that.
Who voted no?
So, for clarity, I think they voted no because of the process. And Teddy specifically mentioned that he supported it, but was the process, and I get that. I mean, that's a respectful answer. So those that voted no, they voted no because of the process, and we'll see whether or not it's ratified next week. But it was Tom, myself, Michael Deering, and Jake Hemrick that voted yes. And like I said, Teddy Wozniak, Emil Chambel, and Sam Stockwell voted no. But again, that was based on process. I think they would have voted for it if it came up, in a normal session. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if they voted for the ratification next week. So I definitely would not say that they did anything wrong.
Because this will be discussed next week, no matter what happens today.
Correct.
At the State House.
Correct. Because we're going to have to ratify the resolution.
It has been put on the agenda.
It's all silly stuff.
Yeah, and what was one of my questions for you this morning is this all just a bunch of silly, a waste of time and effort?
Depends. What are you talking about? Are you talking about like having it held up in committee at GovOps? Yeah, that's a waste of time. Just pass the damn bill. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry.
You don't need to be excused.
And you're not sorry.
And you're not sorry. Stop. Yeah, we need to shoot this man with a Nerf gun every time he says he's sorry.
I'm bringing it tonight.
Please do. Right.
I'm going to sit over here locked and loaded.
Right here, between the eyes. So what happens next Tuesday?
So we'll just ratify the vote. It won't that by then the vote in the House will be done, and hopefully they make the right decision. Tommy Walls sent an email this morning stating that he will support the flag charter change. Whether it comes, he will support the charter changes.
Yeah.
Whether it comes out without or with the flag, he took the same stance, kind of as this is what the people want, this is what the people can have. I respect Tommy for that. I have a pretty good relationship with Tommy anyway. With Tommy. And he should vote for raw milk. But that's okay.
Oh my God.
If he was listening, and I'm not saying he's listening, he probably isn't listening. But if he was, he would be laughing he would be laughing right now.
Tommy. He doesn't know what a podcast is. Somebody needs to enlighten this guy and show him what podcasting is all about.
Well, I did invite him and Peter on the show.
Really?
I did. And
Peter Anthony?
Yeah.
What did he say?
They haven't responded yet. I mean, I sent it last night after. It was before the email that was sent out by the mayor. And I don't know how. I probably would have modified the email just a slight bit had I known that email was there.
So again, what was the email about from our mayor last night?
It was saying that we as city council passed this resolution, and
it was an email to the legislature.
It was the legislature and the chair, Peter Anthony, Tommy Walls, city council, and it was also sent to Dave Delcor.
All right,
which I didn't know when I first looked at it, because I immediately forwarded it to Dave Delcor.
Has anyone checked to see if this is in the Times-Argus this morning?
Oh, it wouldn't be in the Times-Argus.
Right.
The soonest it would be in this
we went
Thursday.
too late last night with the meeting. Mm-hmm.
Shocker
Tomorrow.
That we went too late.
Yeah.
Well,
shocker that it was a late city council meeting.
Yeah.
It happens.
All right.
It happens.
So I mean, we're kind of breaking this morning here.
Which is
cool.
This is breaking news, but this is kind of biased news because I'm kind of biased. I'm biased on this issue. I'm extremely biased, and I'm very passionate about it.
Same.
You can't parse my words. So you have to know your audience.
Yeah.
You know that you're on aired out, right?
Yeah.
You can be real, raw,
I know.
relevant.
I'm saying
you're not
in
on
general,
Barry Beat
know
right
your
now.
audience.
Yeah.
Know your audience. The audience of Barry City in general is, hey, we're done with this. We don't want to talk about, what little special flag you want to put up. We don't want the city doing that. We don't want the city making those decisions. We have clearly made that. And you know what? The comment was made that, we really haven't done that. Mm-hmm. But guess what? We actually had a request come in, and it came in on like a Friday night to do it on Monday. And it didn't actually go through because Lucas wouldn't put it on. He wouldn't make a special meeting for it. Mm-hmm. Although I think that if we had a special meeting, we would have had a special flag up on the flagpole after this had passed.
So what are the flags that would be flyable?
Okay, the only flag that you can fly that Barry City.
The
City of Barry, because it's under corporate powers, a general corporate something powers or whatever, 104 in the charter. You can only fly the Barry City, the municipality can only actively fly, because that's the thing. They can only fly the United States flag, the state flag, the city flag, the MIA and POW flag, which is the same as the state of Vermont.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So the whole comments about...
But you personally...
No.
You want
to fly a flag out here? You can fly a flag. You know what?
Do we want to put one on the...
This right here? What is this called?
That's a window
banner.
shade.
A banner.
Yeah, a banner.
It's a banner.
Well, it blocks the sun.
Yeah.
So this right here is the type of material that that the banners are made of outside. Mm-hmm. And everybody knows, if I called this a flag, what would you say?
Yeah, it's not a flag.
It's not a flag.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, maybe you're more than 5 years old.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, look at. You see pickup trucks driving by with flags mounted to the backs of them. You see the Ukrainian flag everywhere. everywhere.
Yeah, well, and you can't put the Ukrainian flag up on the state. The state won't allow you to put the Ukrainian flag up. You know why? Because it's in their rules. Okay, and guess what? It's in our rules too. At least it should be.
You can hang it on your building.
Yeah, you can hang the Ukrainian flag on your building.
Right.
But what if there's somebody in the community that doesn't want that? Why should you force? I mean, granted, then you can make the comment about why they don't want the American flag. Well,
Right.
I don't know what to say about that.
Can
I'll
you
just
put a
move on.
flag up in your window of your business if it's covering up more than 40% of the glass?
No,
Okay.
you cannot.
I think we're done here.
Cut it out.
I think we're done here.
So, but well, we're not, because I'm going to make it done here in a second.
Ooh.
But we're just, no, not done. But I mean, we can't close until I ask you these couple of questions, and I tell you. But so this is going before the council again next week. We can
Tuesday.
invite people who, yes, in the words of the mayor and a few others, are sick of this. They are sick of it. They're sick of hearing it. And that's why they voted, and they voted yes, because they are sick of it. Last night I heard several times by a couple of council members that the people of the city want it to stop. They're sick and tired of hearing it. That is true. That is a very true statement. They want it over with, and that's why they voted yes to this change. Mad respect to Carol Dawes.
Oh my goodness! And I will have that video.
Standing up last night for what she believes in, and the fact that she said, you know, I voted no, but the people, my job is to do a fair election, and it was a fair election, and the people voted yes, and that's what I stand behind. No personal in there. It's what the city wanted.
Well, as it
said
should be. As
yes.
it should be. As it should be.
And so they are sick of it because they thought that their word was going to be the end of it.
Yeah.
And it's not. And that is what is ludicrous in this whole thing. And if you, this is what I have to say about where we're at with all of this, because it's absolutely ludicrous that we're doing this. I agree. And I too am sick of hearing it.
Yeah.
But recently, I attended the Battle in Barre 6. And the place was packed. It was awesome. Good time. Everybody.
February 19th.
Loud, crazy. You know, it was just a great night.
Yeah.
What made it an awesome night was when an entire audience in this auditorium filled with people fell silent to stand to sing the national anthem. And when we did that, the DJ failed. And it didn't play. A gentleman decided to stand in the audience and begin singing. And the rest of us chimed in. I had goosebumps, a worm in my stomach, and yes, I even cried because I was proud. Proud to be up there. And that's where I'm at right now with this. Your DJ failed. You voted yes. You chose to stand, and your DJ failed. So stand up.